They have been trying to make contact with the suspect inside the home. They have rammed in the door with a battering ram, and now they're still trying to get in contact with him. And this standoff has been going on for more than 30 hours, and it ended last night when shots were fired. And you would think it was a ghost town because of how empty the area is. Now, we've been here since early this morning, about 10 a.m., and I want to give you a glimpse of what we saw as we were driving through. Yeah, Greg, if you can see behind me this dark cloud of smoke, that's moving towards the city of Red Lodge. The Montana Department of Health and Human Services website has a lot of information, and it can get very overwhelming very quickly. Jason, you better watch out. You better not cry, and I'll tell you why. Because Santa Claus is coming to town. For many families this summer, they won't hear the hum of their AC unit or feel that cool breeze drafting through their home. It can be hard to imagine talking to a loved one one day and the next they go missing, but it's a tragic reality that plagues many families in the Native communities here in Montana. The lifting of county health restrictions not only affect the bars and restaurants here in Red Lodge, but also the Red Lodge Mountain Ski Resort. The most commonly used method by scammers is text messages and robocalls. Hello?
Congratulations, you won!
Under Stage 2 fire restrictions in Yellowstone County, lighting a consumer firework like this one here, well, that's a no-go this holiday weekend.
It was terrifying. It was, I don't even know that there's words that can tell you how terrified I actually was.
Roberta was just arriving home when she noticed police cars on her street, but she had no idea a suspect was on the loose.
I'm really not scared. At this point, I'm just thinking, I'm being nosy. What's going on?
Roberta decided to call her husband, who tells her to let the dogs into the backyard and grab the gun.
I go in, and the dogs are all excited to see me, and they're barking, but I don't know that they're barking to see me or that there's somebody in my backyard, because they bark when they see me.
And although she wasn't scared, Roberta wasn't prepared for what she saw when she opened her back door.
I opened up the door, and my screen door is the only thing that's like between us. And my heart jumps, and I'm telling you, for a split second, literally for a split second, his eyes were like, help me.
Roberta says she yelled at the suspect, slammed her door shut, and screamed to police that he was in her backyard. But by the time police ran to her yard, he was already gone.
My dogs are my heroes. Honestly, but firmly believe from the bottom of my heart, if my dogs had not been there barking, that he could have easily opened that and gone into my house.
With this hot and dry weather here, you're more than likely to come across a snake like this guy right here. But there's only one snake in Montana that's venomous. When you're out on a hike, that's one sound you probably don't want to hear, the shake of a rattlesnake's tail. They're prone to live in hot and dry areas like the rims here in Billings. But Jeff Ewalt with Zoo Montana tells me you can find them just about anywhere in Montana.
You're going to see a high activity level during these hottest days of summer. It's just that's the normal way that snakes operate.
So you're on that trail enjoying your hike and you come across one. What now? Well, if you're anything like me, you might scream or even freeze. Ewalt says that may not be the best answer.
It's going to be more scared of you than you are of it. So just give them their distance, back away, go the other way around the path, and give them their space.
Believe it or not, on average, 8,000 people nationwide get bit by snakes every year. And it's what you do after that bite that determines how quickly you recover.
Make sure that the wound is lower than your heart, and then if you're able, clean that wound and put a dry dressing on it. Don't take that venom out by sucking that venom out, because if you have a cut in your mouth, that venom can actually be transferred even faster to your body. So that's the least favorable thing you want to do.
It may be hard to do, but stay calm. The faster your adrenaline rushes, the faster it moves the venom through your body. He says out of those 8,000 snake bites, only about 5 people die every year. And just remember, snakes won't mess with you if you don't mess with them. In Billings, Cornelia Nicholson, Montana, right now.
American Legion, attention!
It is amazing, amazing. I wish I had more words.
2,600 Americans were lost and unaccounted for during the Vietnam War. First Lieutenant Alva Ray Krogman was one of those unfortunate servicemen who was missing in action. His plane was shot down over Laos during the war in 1967, leaving his family wondering for 54 years if he'd ever come home.
Another Christmas has gone, still looking for you, still waiting, still looking.
But Krogman's mother, Lou, never gave up hope. She passed away in 1990. 30 years before hearing the news, her son's remains were finally found and identified in July of 2020. Lieutenant Ray Krogman is coming home. Lieutenant Krogman's remains were flown to Billings and his casket escorted by Patriot Guard riders to his hometown of Worland, Wyoming.
American Legion at ease.
Wednesday, he was properly honored with a full formal service. His niece, Kelly Steindorf, and her brother, Jerry Krogman, stood on stage, tears falling, reminiscing on their uncle.
Ray played football with a bunch of quality guys.
The service was followed by a procession leading the way to Riverview Memorial Gardens, where he would be laid to rest next to his mom and dad.
I think already I'm feeling closure. Just Grandma kept wondering and waiting, and now he's going to be next to them, and he's back to us, and that gives us closure.
The lawn was filled with people paying their respects as Lieutenant Krogman received the highest military honor, a 21-gun salute and a performance of taps.
And his mom and those notes and saying, "I miss you, come home." That's really the sacrifice in America when we send people in fighting for him. So we came up from Cody strictly to honor him and to love on him a little bit. He went 53 years without much loving.
It's been an emotional week. He should have been home 54 years ago, to be honest with you. It tugs at the heartstrings, and it's been very emotional, but it's what we do.
For the Krogman family, it was a day they never thought they'd see.
It's just amazing. It's amazing, and the people of the town, it's great to share with them, and hopefully it'll touch each one of us in a special way.
In Worland, Cornelia Nicholson, Montana, right now. On March 13th, 2020, the Montana Department of Corrections suspended visitation to all facilities to combat the spread of COVID-19. Alicia Hochter says she was lucky enough to see her family right before the suspension.
And I got to see my daughter for the first time then as well. So it was very bittersweet and very shocking for me when they just done. We're done. We can't do this anymore.
During the past year, Alicia says she and her family found ways to stay connected through phone calls and video chats, but it's not the same as being together in person.
To have those communications, not just over the phone when everything's recorded and everything, but just having that physical contact, even if it's just being able to talk to somebody like this, it does mean a lot. It has a huge impact on your mental and your emotional stabilities.
Like all of the women here at Montana Women's Prison, it's been over a year since Alicia Hochter has been able to see her father in person and give him a hug. And that's the one thing she wants to do the most. But that all changed tonight. Alicia says she was beyond excited when she heard that visitations were to resume, and she wasn't the only one happy about it.
Anytime you get to see your child again, it's almost like the first time. That connection is there.
Alicia says the one thing she's looking forward to when she sees her father is
that hug, just that big bear hug.
And when the door opened to the visitation room and Alicia saw her father, that's exactly what she got.
This is my support. This is my family.
Alicia and her father both shed a few tears during the reunion. She says being able to sit and hold her father's hand again is an immense impact to her life and mental health. She says she's looking forward to finally having the chance to be with her family in person again.
People think that we're just dirty and that inmates are just horrible, horrible people. They're in prison for a reason. Yes, we're in prison for a reason, but that doesn't make us any less human than everybody else.
In Billings, Cornelia Nicholson, Montana, right now.